Hello, I'm Michael Robinson, host of the Michael S. Robinson Show every Saturday on AM 970 The Answer and also on microbinradio.com. On this Saturday's show, we're going to be talking about elevating your personal brand. What does that mean for you? Many people think of brand as being something that's a business concept. But in this digital age, in this evolving technological world we live in, everyone has a brand. So the personal brand is going to be the focus of our conversation this Saturday. There are 5 elements to personal branding. There's the digital footprint, there's a community footprint, there's a legal footprint, a career footprint, and a financial footprint. I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to navigate and manage all of these various footprints to help you ensure that your brand is going to be rich and vibrant in 2017. The first thing, we want to look at the digital footprint. Be careful of the narrative that you put on social media or that is currently existing on social media, because that narrative speaks to who you are as a person, what you're saying, your ideas on life, and your views of the world. So be thoughtful of what you say. And I say to people all the time, always ask yourself the question, would my grandmother approve of this, right? So that is the first thing you think about when you are looking at the social media platform and what you're putting on it. The second thing you want to think about is your career. We all have careers we love. Some of us have careers that we really don't love that much. But the bottom line is that your career happens to be a footprint in of itself, and it is part of your brand. You do a good job, your employer recognizes it, hopefully, and that's something that can take you from one job to the next. It transcends time and space. It transcends your reputation. It builds on your reputation, as a matter of fact. So what I want you to do is always think of your current employment as an opportunity to express your brand by doing the best possible job you can, because that in of itself will take you to another platform moving forward in terms of a career job enhancement. The third thing I want you to do is to think about your community. Community has always been this elusive term that we use in this world. You know, community can be the area where you live. It could be a part of an organization that you belong to. It could be an institution that you're part of. They're all ideas of community. We're also living in a global community. It's no longer a community that's limited to geography, but it's a national, international community. So we want to think of how we represent ourselves and how we interact with that community. Do we have a feisty neighbor that we hate, right? Think about that person. Is that who you want to be? So think about that in terms of your brand. How are people looking at you? How are you perceived in your community? You want to have a positive brand in how people look at you. So I want to tell you that community is probably one of the most interesting and multidimensional places that you can actually elevate your brand and propel you forward, whereby friends, neighbors, people who are part of an organization that you belong to can say good things about you. Because that's all part of your brand, right? The third thing I want to tell you is the law. You know, a lot of times you think about the law as being this sort of like elusive terminology, but it affects us in so many ways. You know, you get a driving ticket for speeding, probably a little above the speeding limit, and it's a $50 fine. But you know what? That affects you, because the next job that you go looking for, that employer may be looking at your criminal background, and that ticket shows up. That looks negatively against you, and therefore it may hinder your ability to get that job. So be careful of how you interact in public. Respect the law, respect our policies and procedures in our communities, and that will take you a long way. The fifth thing is that I want to talk about identity protection and financial protection. We have a huge internet presence, as I mentioned before. We're on Amazon.com. We have accounts on Macy's and Bloomingdale's. We have credit cards out there. We have personal data, our social security number. All of this is available out there. And guess what? We've been hearing about hacking in the news more and more recently, whereby companies, national, international companies, hack our systems and obtain our data. Now, this data is then interpreted by somebody else in a way that we have no control over. Is this person going to be using our data against us in a way that is going to reflect negatively on our brand? Is this person going to take our data and use it to run up a credit card bill and therefore damage our credit score, which in turn affects your ability to get a loan for a house, a loan for a car, the opportunity for work, because a lot of employers these days look at your credit score as a definitive sense as to whether they want to hire you to work for their companies or not. So it's up to you to ensure that your data is protected online in the best possible light. So remember, this is your reputation, right? Protect it like a business, because it is your personal life you're talking about. And at the end of the day, being mindful of your personal brand can reap huge dividends in future. I'm Michael Robinson. This is your time. Use it wisely.